Somebody come save me fall. It feels like we've met before. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come tip her. She's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her. She's feeling all the liquor.
He's out of his league the minute he even thinks about trying to even approach Auntie Deb. She's gonna freaking lay him out in lavender.
There's no coming back from Auntie Deb, man.
No, that's a death now. Final boss.
Gentle, you are not trying to cause problems, but you'll sting. Okay.
I'm afraid of Auntie. I am.
Oh.
We all are. We all are.
Yeah.
Of me?
Yeah.
That's a fault.
She says that Aunt Deb, is it Aunt Deb, Jimmy? Jimmy likes you, Sean. I said, well, I'd hate to see what he'd be like if he didn't like me.
Jay Carp sends $10 and goes, Auntie Deb is a meanie. Yeah, Auntie Deb is a meanie. I know. He's sassy and fresh.
Jesus,
Who's this diva? Who's this diva? Because I know there's some new ones coming around these parts. This is the first time. This is the first time they're learning about this. Who's this diva? Because the whole crowd's doing it. Because now everyone wants to do it so you can jump on the bandwagon. I know you. I know you, and you're not going to like anything I have to say. And I'm telling you right now, I'm on to you. I say one wrong thing and you're going to drop me like a bad habit. You're going to drop me like a hot fucking potato.
Jesus, Welly, wow. Oh, good God. Wow. I've been a lot of places, seen a lot of cases. Oh, hell, I go at my own paces. A trooper, his name was Paul. He had a Queen Bev Rules poster on his wall. He asked me to join him at the policeman's ball. And he'd buy me a claw at the waterfall. Your nutty spaghetti. Built like a horse, needs to get the last word in, of course. And now, the Hill's representing. When he gets out of line, Mr. Jackson, no commenting. He acts and says, who cares, I'm rich. If I give a little lip, he shouts, pull up, bitch. Bukaki, he's not Poopa Tractor. Big Benny Ben, that's who I'm after. None of them deny that I got the X Factor. It's the Great White Shark Super Attractor. Oh my goodness. Is it the end of the day? Monday? When's the 4th? Okay, sidebar right now. Is this fall on deaf ears? A lot of traffic for the Get to sidebar right now. If you're cruising down the pike, allow it sight. Rally, watch the star. Really do a sidebar. Cause if you see a blonde crab walking by you, ha! That's Bev the Overrider, dressed in all black with a ciggy in my pack. Lunatics up in here, I call the idea. All the court fees you could never afford. Sitting pretty, baby, Madam Court Reporter. 7 a.m. my scone's full of cram. If you don't speak up, I'm turning off the fan. Turn it on, call up my ex from back in the day. Cause nothing goes better with crab than Old Bay. Straight out of UMass to Norfolk I reign. Days off when I want, this is crab domain. Deliberate again till I let us proceed. And you'll catch me saying, this is funny, Miss Reed. All right, this is my friggin' courtroom. I ain't fucking around. You heard me. My courtroom. That's what I thought.
Happy Sunday. How's everyone doing? Is everyone doing good? Guys, this is the week. Season 2 of The Trial is fucking starting. Okay? It's coming. We thought it was going to be over last year. No. January? No. We've been waiting. We're ready. We're all ready. It's like when you're in high school and you're like, oh, but I don't want to grow up, blah, blah, blah. And then you get to senior year and you're like, okay, can we get the show on the road? I'm ready. We all have senioritis. Okay. What's going to happen? We're going to free our Karen Reeds. The beast is almost slayed. We're almost there. We're fucking almost there. God, today we have company. Company came over. Company's coming over to your aunt's house today. Okay. Get a cup of coffee. Go. Get a cup of coffee. Light up a ciggy. Come sit at the kitchen table. Okay. We have a very, very special guest. This person is, I'd say a snarky, outspoken, Dr. Phil regular, has opinions, My good time Jewel Carp is his good time Wendy Murphy. You've seen him, you know him, you love him. Guys, please give a nice round of applause for the main man, Mr. Mark Bederow. What up?
Wow, that's quite an introduction. I didn't expect to see a witness humping a chair, followed by Mona Lisa Vito and all that in between. Jesus, what have I?
Have you seen that video before?
No, what have I walked into here?
No, I know. I saw people on Twitter trying to scare you. I saw Romy sent a tweet and was like, "Are you gonna play Fuck, Marry, Kill?"
I saw FMK, and I have to confess, I had to Google it and see what it was. So I did educate myself.
All right, so you ready to play? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Good.
So how are you? How you doing? How's your Sunday?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready to get this started.
Yeah, my Sunday is a little different than I anticipated. I'm actually supposed to be on vacation, and we had to cancel it due to some kind of work situation unrelated to anything that you would be talking about. But it has left me home for the week that I was expecting to be gone. So it's a little different, but you adjust. Everything's fine. Here we are. But that
you have a staycation then.
It's become a temporary staycation. We'll be traveling soon enough, but it's the famous, Hyman Roth. This is the business we've chosen. It happens from time to time. Hyman Roth. Who's Hyman Roth?
What's that?
I thought you were supposed to be the cultural guy. Who's Hyman Roth? The Godfather Part 2?
Oh, okay,
No.
okay. No, I've never seen. I've never seen The Godfather.
We're bigger than U.S. Steel, Michael. No.
I've never seen The Godfather. If I did, the name Hyman Roth would definitely, no pun intended, stick out to me. But no, I've never seen it ever.
You should dedicate a good 8 hours of your life, and watch Part 1 and Part 2. You can skip Part 3; it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But you should. It's like an 8-hour adventure. It's filmmaking at its peak. It's never better than that. You really should watch it.
Better than Goodfellas and The Bronx Tale.
Definitely, Bronx Tale's good, but not even on the same level. Goodfellas is a classic and great. It's not Godfather though. I mean, Goodfellas is outstanding, but The Godfather is The Godfather. I mean, it's the king of the genre. None of these. There would be no Goodfellas without The Godfather. Put it that way.
Okay. Goodfellas walk so Godfather could run. I get it. All right. So 8 hours, you say I need to dedicate, which I love because I like to binge series television, which takes me to my next point, which we got to talk.
Okay.
I saw your tweet about White Lotus, and I just got to say,
Since you got your degree and you know every fucking thing.
why don't you like season 3?
Hold on.
No, take your time.
Need a warning for that, like mid coffee. I don't know. I thought it was, it just wasn't getting there. It's an eight episode or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I'm big on the slow burn. I like series that have a slow, sophisticated burn. But to me, the embers never really even lit in this thing. I love season 1. I really like season 2. And this, to me, I mean, I watched every episode every week. It wasn't like I wasn't going to watch it, and I'll certainly watch season 4, but it never really got off the ground for me. I didn't find the cast that compelling. I know that's a controversial view. I didn't find the little storylines that compelling. They didn't kind of blend in to me. And I found the ending to just be absurd, and absurd can be good in a Tarantino way. In all the Tarantino movies, there's always absurd violence and absurd comedy, and it works. I just found the ending of The White Lotus to be just ridiculous, not compelling, and just entertaining, but no more, no less. It was just, for me, sorry.
No, I agree with that. I actually agree with that because I'm thinking about it, and the payoff wasn't crazy. You kind of knew it was coming because of the first episode.
And I like that. By the way, I like, again, sophisticated TV where they show you how it ends and you build up how the hell did you get there, and to get there with basically I'm still pissed off about the owner's husband who turns out to be dad, whatever. That was a little easy, but he had his opportunity. He didn't really do anything with it in Bangkok, and then all of a sudden he goes back to the hotel that he owns. That's a little silly, actually. But then he gets triggered to go back. And really, the big takeaway is I'm just going to go shoot the guy, and her security guards are going to shoot back. And that's what this all was in episode 1. I'm sorry, but that, to me, that's lame with a capital L.
There was, now that you're talking about it, there was unnecessary characters. Like, what was the need for his friend that relapsed in, you know what I mean? What was the need for that?
Entertainment, some of the comedy value, I don't know. I don't think any of the only compelling story that I will tell you that I found, and even that, I don't know that it resolved in a great way. The only compelling story was the Parker Posey family and how, rich dad is, about to get indicted for all kinds of, insider trading type fraud. And this whole story tale life is going to go kaput. And he's got, the wacky daughter who wants to be this Buddhist. And then it turns out, she's just really like mom. After that. And the good son turns out to be the decent one. And so maybe he'll save him because money doesn't matter. And then you could see it coming from a mile away. Oh my God, the good son is going to drink out of the thing, which he doesn't rinse. I mean, that also is just hard to believe. But beyond that, I found the storylines just, nothing really. I didn't find the 3 girlfriends interesting at all.
No, me neither.
Just boring. I guess the carryover character, what's his name, Gary, the man of mystery. At the end of the day, he just pays a $5 million bribe and she takes it and goes. I mean, to me, it ought to be. I like sophisticated writing shows. That's why I love Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, that kind of stuff. And I just found this to could have been good, and it just came out almost lazy. It just didn't care for it.
All right. I see that totally. Season 1 is the best, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The best. I loved season 2. I did. Surprisingly, at the end, what I liked about it is I found myself rooting for the hookers.
Right.
I did. I was like, yes. And it takes you, like, what I liked about White Lotus is it takes you places emotionally that you didn't know you could go. Having said that, what I don't like about White Lotus, what the hell is that director trying to do to gay people? What's he trying to do? How come season 1, the gay character is relapsing, eating the ass of a guy who works there? And how come season 2, season 1, how come season 2, it's the prostitute nephew? And how come season 3, they're romanticizing incest? Why can't we get a normal storyline?
That was bizarre. It's kind of, I guess, humorous on one level that they would get Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid to be, part of that. It's just, I don't know why, but I find that comical. But I just found that obviously bizarre, gross, and not compelling in any way. What was the point? To me, none of this was in the least bit compelling. Which of these characters are you really attached to? The security guard?
Yes.
I guess. And then at the end, look what they do with him. He just becomes, now I'm the big bodyguard because she told me to shoot the guy in the back, and I did. So he all of a sudden went from like this wimp, and he gets built up by this girl who, that was, I think, part of the joke I made, who by all accounts is this really timid, type woman who then she goes out with him and says, I need a man, and I need toughness, and you're basically a wimp. And it somehow compels him to want to be a tough guy. And then he kind of goes back to being a wimp until this woman is telling him to shoot one of her guests in the back who just shot her husband. And now he's driving her like he's a boss. This is kind of stupid. I'm sorry. This is all kind of stupid to me.
She was interesting. The manager lady who, like, they could have went more into her, I felt like, because I was kind of intrigued by her.
Yeah.
Her singing and all that other stuff. And like, which I like how they include like arts in the series. Like I loved again the hooker in season 2 who was playing the piano.
Yeah,
and
yes.
That part I was like taken aback by.
But see, those characters, I mean, the hookers and the con artist in Italy, they were compelling. They were charismatic. And I didn't find any charisma in this group of people at all. I didn't think any of them were just compelling really in any way. And the only thing that was interesting to me, and they kind of left it hanging actually, was how would the family, you know, at the end, they're getting their cell phones back. They all know dad is screwed. Like, we're going to have a financial problem. We're going to be humiliated. And they just kind of look at their phones and you don't even get a tell what it all means. And they just kind of left that. And then it ends with the whatever her name is, I actually forget, the heavyset woman who was in it and got screwed by Jennifer Coolidge in the last season, who then does essentially the same thing to the guy this season. And she just sails off into the sunset with her $5 million. I mean, it's kind of lame storytelling, I thought.
I didn't pick up on the fact that she did it to someone else.
Well, Jennifer Coolidge was, and then she just took off. And this one, at least she told the guy, like, I'm leaving, but it was kind of the same thing.
I didn't make that connection.
Yeah. And well, that's why you had me here, you know,
that's why we brought you here, to make these connections.
And then she just takes the $5 million and her son sail off into the sunset. To me, that's lazy storytelling. I don't know.
No, I no, I'm into it. I like that. I couldn't believe it. Like season 1, when they walk into the guy's room, the manager, and he's on his knees and the kid's ass is out. I was like, I love this fucking show. Season 2, I'm like, okay, the nephew is okay, that's fine. Whenever they're going to bed and I see that kid look over and he's looking at his brother's ass, I was like, you guys now got me too fucked up. No, this is too far. This is too far. Like, I understand like edgy, but now it's like just doing it for shock value. Like, what do you like?
I mean, like, you know, in the first season, that scene certainly, and then the other scene where, you know, he just, let's call it what it is. He takes a dump in the suitcase. That was shocking.
It was the best.
It had never happened, and you just were left with this. Wow, this is, I don't know what this is, but it's compelling TV, as gross as it feels. And now it feels all cliche, contrived, and forced. I mean, the incest thing I think was totally forced and absurd. It's just, I don't know. It was
too much.
Yeah,
you're right. Like season 1, I remember like, and even season 2, when they're walking down, it's dinner time at the hotel, right? And you see all the characters coming out of their table. You're watching each one, knowing the connections. You're invested as fuck. Season 3, this season, you're like, oh, that's right. That's the girlfriend. She's the actress, and she wants to sleep with the guy who works there.
Exactly. It's funny you say that, because while you know, I was watching this with my wife, and we're watching this as it was going on, and I'm kind of complaining, saying, yeah, it's not really doing it for me. And I even stated, I don't remember all their names. It's like you said, the actress who's friends with the other girl, like their names weren't even registering because I wasn't that invested in it. And it became a thing where I was going to watch it, but it almost felt like a chore. I had to watch it because that's what you do, rather than when you're really into a series that you just like have to watch it and just get into it and whatnot. And this, I felt more just going through the motions. Those are the 3 girls with the actress in this. That's the family where the guy is, you know, a trader or a financial guy, and Parker Posey. I don't even know her name on the show. It's just Parker Posey.
Parker Posey, yeah.
So she's the lady with the daughter, and you know.
Remember the daughter's name though.
The daughter's name. Hold on.
Because Parker Posey says it all the time, and it's funny.
Piper, right?
Piper, no, yeah,
right.
And we're gonna live with a guru.
Yeah,
in Thailand.
I mean, it's funny, but I actually found a lot of the fringe characters on this much more interesting. I mean, I found, for whatever reason, the hotel manager, that like really wimpy, nerdy guy who says I get nervous performing, for some reason, compellingly funny. I don't know why though. He just was just there, and he really had no role. And I kept thinking, this guy's going to factor into this. somehow, and he never did. I was hoping that, the Russians, the one guy who worked there, and wait a minute, they're connected to the robbers, and the girls are all trying to hit on them, and they're leaving the resort. You feel like, okay, something big is going to happen here, and it just turns into one of the girls just getting her rocks off, and having an embarrassing encounter with some psycho, other girl who wants to get in there, and it just became nothing. The robbery was a red herring, right? It never. I mean, usually on TV shows like this, everything has a purpose. That's why I like Breaking Bad. Everything has a purpose. There's never, you have to focus on everything. And I know a lot of people talked about in this show, there was that one scene where Parker Posey is talking to one of the three women on vacation. Didn't I see you at a bridal shower and or whatever it was, or a baby shower? Yes. And they had a 5-minute discussion, and it's clear that the Parker Posey character is like, why am I talking to this woman? I can't stand her. And in a show like this, that ought to be something like flag that for later. That's going to come. The circle will be complete. And they didn't do it.
Because it was such a weird moment.
Right.
Do you think that they're going to bring this into season 4? Because there's a lot of boxes that are unchecked, a lot of T's not crossed, a lot of I's not dotted. I feel you on that.
I probably, only because why wouldn't they? But then how much are you willing to suspend reality, which I think is another thing when you like these kind of shows. You have to be willing to say, am I willing to accept that this is absurd? So I mean, you have this resort, which is essentially 4 seasons. That's what in real life, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And every one of these resorts ends up in murder and mayhem and death, and it would be in real life absurd. And if you bring 1 or 2 of these people back after what happened, if you again suspend reality, how do you do that? I mean, I think it would make good TV if you're willing to put that aside. But to me, there has to be a modicum of possibility of reality, or otherwise it's just pure fantasy. And I mean, that's why a show like The Wire was so good. I mean, it felt, especially if, you do what I do for a living and you deal with just nasty, gross real life often, from time to time, it just felt like that is, if you've ever been to Baltimore and seen what it can look like, that was just real gritty. And there was that connection to, it's kind of what it's like. I mean, obviously it's going to be dramatized to some extent, but it just felt so grimy yet so real. With Breaking Bad, you have to go a little farther. You have to suspend some of it, but it's still, mostly plausible. The White Lotus to me is getting very close to too far, unless you're just going to say it's all make believe and who cares.
Did you watch American Horror Story?
No.
Okay. Never mind then. Screw that. There was another thing I was going to bring up, but no, you're totally right. Because if you're sitting there week after week, investing your time, it's an hour. And there, a lot of the shots I felt like in season 3 too were B-roll.
Yeah.
Like a Buddha here, the noise here.
The monkeys.
And I wanted that to play into it.
I'm sitting there saying, if I have to see 30 shots of the monkeys every episode, this has got to, again, in the way I view sophisticated TV, something has got to factor in with the monkeys, because I totally agree. It's just too much dead time, B-roll, whatever you want to call it. And it just never did.
Did you think, I felt like something also should have came with the Russian who she hooked up with, after her actress friend did it, friend, we don't even know the names. And he's like, do you have Cash App? My mom needs money, or something like that.
I thought she was either going to be dead or close to dead or in real trouble, that they were setting her up to be, something bad was going to happen to her, that, rich American on vacation. And it's all this kind of scam. And it really was just, 3 Russian dudes who had immigration problems and were getting their rocks off, having a good time with, some rich ladies. And it was just nothing. And to me, what is that? I mean, why waste all that time? To show the point that of the 3 women, that this is the one who just can't get what she wants all the time. And,
right.
And she's upset because she's less shallow by this much than the other two. And then they bring them in at the end and they have their kumbaya lady talk. And she says, we all just have to accept what we are. And that's what's going to make me happy. And that's, to me, that just did nothing for me.
Then they say I love you to each other, the three girls. And then they were talking shit about each other the whole vacation.
Right. And you thought, again, maybe there would be an angle here where something's going to happen where this really fake relationship, or certainly friendship of convenience, if you will, between these three would somehow explode into something. And it really was just, no, they're just rich women who grew up together, went on vacation. They've drifted apart. They have different interests. The actress, the pretty one steals the man from the, perhaps less pretty one. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's whatever. That's a story as old as time. That's not really interesting TV. Not to me, anyway.
No, I completely agree. Are you watching anything right now?
Well, obviously I just finished Severance, which that's like A+ TV to me.
Okay, so recommended.
All at top, like Mount Rushmore all time. And
really
good. And so right now it's like a trendy thing. When it first came out a couple of years ago and it wasn't that well known, I was definitely episode 1 into this all the time. And I'm kind of almost upset that it's become this super trendy thing. But again, now that's another one. You have to suspend reality. And it is kind of like this concept of how do you split your brain scientifically with microchips? And that's not normally the kind of thing that I would like. But that show couldn't recommend it more than anything. Absolutely.
When I watch a show, I feel like about like suspending your disbelief of things. I feel like I'm totally in it. Like no matter what they're selling me, I'm buying no matter what, because I want to get like the storyline and what they have to say. You can't go in, like I even watched True Blood about vampires. Vampires don't fucking exist. But like when I'm watching it, there are vampires.
Severance, and this is just brilliant. And this, I mean, it's produced by Ben Stiller, which is interesting. You think comedy, but this is, not that. And, it's got, what's his face? Adam, oh my God, from Community is the lead actor who plays Mark S. He's really great, but they've got a side cast of not the most prominent roles, but they've got Christopher Walken in a very small role, but he's Christopher Walken, who is master. John Turturro. They've just got this incredible. It's a very almost like modern dystopian view. It's really funny that the world headquarters of this evil corporation in real life are the Bell Labs. If you live in New York, New Jersey area, and you know what the Bell Labs are, you can go there and you see they turn it into this like Lumen headquarters. That's this evil company, and so it's great. If you haven't started watching that, I could not give a higher recommendation for something to watch than that.
Godfather first or Severance?
Well, it's a different animal, right? Godfather, you need basically 8 hours and just do it. Severance, you need more. It's 2 seasons of 8 to 10 to 12 episodes. I would do Godfather first because only because, you're missing out on all these little, this is the business we've chosen and other cliche sayings.
Okay.
That, I feel like you should know. And, you are wearing the Italia shirt. So, it's the Godfather here. It couldn't be better. So I think I'd start with that and then definitely move to Severance.
Do I have to raw dog the 8 hours right away, or can I break it up into like 4 and 4?
You can.
You don't recommend it?
Well, 8 hours is a lot. Godfather 2, though, is probably the only example where some people would seriously say, not everyone agrees with this, but that where people would seriously say that the first movie is an all-time, again, you can't get better, but where the second one may in fact be better than the first at that level. And the second one is fascinating because if you watch Godfather, right, the Godfather is it's Marlon Brando. It's Vito Corleone. And when you go back to the Godfather Part 2, it's one of those movies where, again, they do flashbacks and they bounce around and they're doing the continuation of The Godfather, where Michael Corleone's son is the Godfather. That's Al Pacino. But they also have a storyline telling how the Brando character became the Godfather. And so young Marlon Brando is Robert De Niro. And it's just, and this is when De Niro, in like 1972 was De Niro, right? I mean, not kind of like, Meet the Fockers, De Niro.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, he's kind of become,
a joke. It's okay. You can say it.
A little bit. I mean, I don't think he aged as well movie-wise as like Al Pacino, for example. But this is both of them at their absolute peak. And of course, you have some Marlon Brando. In the first movie, you have James Conn. Robert Duvall is unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I would watch those first.
All right, I will do. Definitely. Thank you for talking to me about the White Lotus and TV shows. I really just wanted to talk to you about that because I saw that tweet and I'm like, I got to get his opinion on that. All right, awesome. We're a half hour in. We're going to take a very short 4-minute commercial break, come back, and we're going to play Beyonce My Name. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea.
Perfect. Even better. All right, guys, we'll be right back with Mr. Mark Bederow. Give us a few minutes. You guys can chill out, okay? No big deal. Have fun. And I'll play this for you guys. You guys will love this.
'Cause I be going boom like an 808. Be making circles like a figure eight. You know it feels good from head to toe. Now hold on to me, baby, here we go. You'll be going boom, baby, boom, baby, boom. And I'll be going ooh, baby, ooh.
Speaking of, you owe me a plate of Yannetti spaghetti.
Hey, Bev, cheer up. Spaghetti from Yannetti's like a Hallmark card. Honor, I will do it.
Oh, Jesus, Hank, what the f***? Now I gotta rush.
Russia.
Motion heard. Dud.
Wake up and strain your brains of much disdain. Murder. Don't leave your bed, fool. Watch it on the job, you old slob. You're going to dead of mass. Get off your ass. Sign up for singing, pour some wine, and argue with some strangers online.
You got more problems than just being a bite. She's known to take a swing.
Okay, all right.
The crowd in danger, she's the diva, the star. If you dismiss right now, she'll make it in time for the bar. This motion's her. Only crustacean top the food chain. She got a strong campaign, conducts the whole train. The slips ain't sighing, take a deal to appeal. With no hindsight right now, shut up and take the deal. This motion's heard, not deferred. Disprove, intervening. Oh look, it's lunchtime, Paris, Atlantic Ocean, where we were wheeling, dealing. United Jackson, Bederow can stay, running and laughing. She never gets her way. Your honorable cannot be disbarred. She thinks she's thieving now. Just wait till open bar. This motion's heard, not deferred. Disprove, intervening. Oh look, it's lunchtime, crab breaks, Atlantic Ocean, where we were wheeling and dealing. Larger than life, a collusion. Rat trap with butter. Vehicular contusion is all she's seeing here. United Jackson, Bederow can stay, running and loudly, never gets her way. Your honorable cannot be disbarred. You think she's thieving now? Just wait till open bar. This motion's heard, not deferred. Disprove, intervening. Oh look, it's lunchtime, crab race, Atlantic Ocean, where we were wheeling and dealing. Motion's heard, not deferred. Disprove, intervening. motion turn, motion turn, motion turn, motion.
Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that. Get back, motherfucker, you don't know me like that.
Welcome back.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What?
Very very witty, creative, few digs there, some funny. Yeah, that
Yeah. That's kind of my style.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So, in about 2007, 2008, Beyonce did an interview with Tyra Banks. You know what Tyra Banks is?
I know Tyra Banks. God, I'm not that bad. I know who she is.
Her talk show, the Tyra Show, was atrocious, and she interviewed Beyonce in an interview called "Beyonce My Name." It was so embarrassing for Beyonce that she has not done really an interview since. So let's get ready to play with Mr. Mark Bederow. Ready?
I don't know.
Yeah, you are. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's easy.
Okay.
All right. Marks Bederow. How were your grades in high school?
Good.
Okay. Bark Bederow. Root beer or cream soda?
Root beer.
Okay. Very quickly.
Sarsaparilla.
That's Sarsaparilla. It's from the dude, right?
Yeah.
Hey there, fella. Got any more of that good sarsaparilla?
By the way, if we want to talk about the Big Lebowski for 4 hours, bring that on. That's an all-timer for me too.
If you want to come on and we talk about the Big Lebowski, I would love to talk about the Big Lebowski.
Then I should have, when you said, how's your Sunday? I should have said, strikes and gutters, right? Just, it is what it is.
Do you know that in the beginning of that movie, when he's writing a check, it's September 11th?
Yeah.
And George Bush on the TV. How weird is that? All right. Linkin Park Bederow. What kind of music do you like?
Mostly classic rock, from 80s type kid.
Okay. Shark Bederow. Lori, Mr. Wonderful, or Mark Cuban?
Lori, Mr. Wonderful, or Mark Cuban? I don't know. I mean, Mark Cuban, I guess, right? He's likes the NBA, got a shitty team, but I mean, we're talking just about business sense.
In just a sense. In any sense.
Cuban's all right.
You don't like Mr. Wonderful?
I don't know much about him. I mean, I know who he is, but I don't know much about that type of stuff.
I think if you get more into Shark Tank, you'll be like, no, it's Mr. Wonderful. Yeah, I think so.
No, yeah. No,
Spark Bederow. Are you a romantic?
You're asking the wrong person. I think if you ask the right person, she'd probably say no.
Seriously? She'd say no?
She might.
No, I don't know her, but I think she might say yes. You don't know. You don't know.
I think that's always a question for the other people. I mean, I think it's hard to self-judge that. It really depends on how.
Are you a romantic guy? Do you like the romantic kind of like, oh, hold my hand, take me for a walk in the park, kiss me on the cheek?
Depends.
Okay. Snark Bederow. Where'd you get your wit?
Where did I get my wit? I don't know. I'd have to think college. I mean, it just, you observe a lot. I have very strong opinions about a lot of things, some which I share, some which I don't. But I would think probably like most people, you define your traits and characteristics, I think mostly in college, because you're away from home, you're with other people. It's really the first time in your life you can do what you want, if you will. So I would say college.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like me and my sister have this thing where we're like, did you have a good childhood or are you funny? So I feel like coming from like some trauma can make you like a funny, witty kind of person too. But college, it's a good answer because you are like observing like the real world.
Yeah.
Embark Bederow. What country would you travel to? Any country in the world right now for a couple days?
For a couple days, any choice. This is probably not the most exotic answer, but England. I would go to London and do a lot of history exploring. I'm a big history person, and there's a lot of things that I would want to see in England.
Have you been before?
No.
I haven't either, and I've always wanted to go. Yeah. Ozark Bederow. Ruth Langmore or Darlene Snell?
Oh, God, Ruth Langmore. I mean, that was one of the all-time great characters in these types of shows that we're talking about. I mean, Darlene Snell was an absolute psychopath, but I will tell you, and I love Ozark, by the way. And credit to the writers of that show. One of the most stunning, unpredictable, in a great way moments I've ever seen on any show I've ever seen is when Darlene Snell just blows off the head, the low-level, but main antagonist at the time, cartel guy, which there's just no way anybody saw that coming. But Ruth Langmore, and I mean, she's as great a character in those kind of shows as you'll ever see. Love her.
Darlene Snell, whenever she would say, "Let me go make some lemonade,"
yeah,
and come back with the gun, I'm like, oh my god. But no, Ruth Langmore was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, awesome,
phenomenal.
Julia Garner's good.
Patriarch Bederow. What's the rewarding thing about being a father?
Seeing your kids learn, gain experience, and succeed. And I mean, I think that's what any parent wants. You just want to see your kid look up to you, learn from you, and then do their own thing. But thank you for it. So I just think seeing them succeed in any way, at any level, whether it's taking first steps, going to school, getting on the bus, or just doing something for the first time. I mean, I think those kinds of things are something that sticks in parents' heart more than anything.
Not every parent. I don't think every parent, but I get what you're saying. I don't have kids, but my sister's kids, like my nieces and nephews, watching them kind of grow up, it's very depressing. So I don't know how actual parents do it, because I get very fucking sad if I look at pictures of them when they were little, and I'm like, oh my, I can't handle it. It's this sadness that I'm like, how do you guys do it?
Yeah, well, no, the older they get, you do say, my God, what I would do for when life was so simple. And the biggest thing in the world was which puppy on Paw Patrol do you like this week? As opposed to going out into the real world and dealing with real life things, or they become aware of the news. And as you know, there are events in the news that are not always so nice, and given the way it is. And it is very reflective to look back and say, again, that when the biggest concern in the world was, do I want to meet Pluto or Mickey Mouse? You miss those kind of things.
Yeah. The youngest right now, James, he's 7, 8, one of those. It changes every year. And I'm trying to hold on to it for dear life, holding on to it. I'm like, don't lose your little speech impediment, please. Still mispronounce words. They're taking him to speech. And I'm like, don't, we need it here.
Yeah.
Noah's Ark Bederow. What animal would you say first?
Dog.
I knew you were going to say that, and I was going to put it side note, you can't say dog. So you can't say dog.
I'm a dog guy, so obviously if you give me the choice, I'm going to say dog.
Dogs are saved already.
So what other animal would I save? It would not be cat. I'm sorry to say, I don't like cats. Giraffes. I like giraffes.
Why don't you like cats?
Well, number one, allergies is a good reason. Growing up, being around cats would make me sneeze and all of that. And they're not dogs. I mean, one of the best thing in the world about dogs is this, okay? You could have the shittiest day of your, I'm allowed to swear here, right? You
can say whatever you want.
Okay. You could be miserable. You could just feel like everything sucks. Nothing is good. And you come home and there they are, and they're looking at you the exact same way. They're running up to you. They're happy. And not only that, but they still need to be taken care of. You still have to do it. And it forces you not only to be happy that these dogs appreciate you no matter what and can make you feel better, but you also have to get off your feet, dust yourself off, feed them, walk them. You can't just let them sit there. So it's kind of like a mutual benefit society. They make you feel better, and they make yourself be better because you still have to do things. Cats sit around, in my view, they do nothing. You try to play with them, they want to scratch you. They want to go off and be their own, where dogs are going to wag their tail. They're going to run up on you, try to lick your face, do all that kind of stuff. I'm just a dog guy. Always have been from as long as I can remember. I've just never not been around dogs.
I get that. My cats are different, especially Sweet Potato. He swears a lot.
He always because I'm a fucking giggler.
He's just out of his mind.
I don't like them, but they're beautiful animals. I mean, they are. If I went around a cat, I'd want to pet it and play with it, and all it's going to do is come out and scratch and all that stuff.
I was the same way. I thought the same exact way until I got one, and I didn't get one either. I'm allergic also. I was walking in the park, and this little 2-week-old kitten just started clawing at my leg. And I was like, can't leave you here. You know what I mean? I have 2 dogs, brought her home, and now I have 2 fucking cats. I do like them. I do have to say I became a cat person non-consensually. Are you afraid? Are you afraid of the dark Bederow? Any phobias?
No, I mean, not like that. I mean, walking around in the dark. No, I don't think I have any phobias in the classic, sense. Would I want to walk around the dark in the middle of the desert alone and nothing in sight for 10 miles? No, obviously, but I'm not afraid of the dark or, I'm not afraid to fly. I don't
weird fears.
I don't enjoy flying. I just find it to be not a pleasant thing, depending on how you're flying, I suppose, but no real demonstrative phobias per se.
All right. Mark Blanche Devereaux. What Golden Girl are you?
What Golden Girl?
I have an answer.
I always found Rose to be the funniest because like her dopiness and what is it, like Saint Olaf story?
Saint Olaf.
I also found the Sophia to the mother to be very funny with her, the way she would talk. And I think it's also funny in real life. I think Estelle Getty might have been even younger than the main in real life. But it's funny. I actually like that show. I used to watch that pretty religiously. I don't know why.
Phenomenal show. The writing is amazing. The comedy is unreal.
Yeah, it was much more sophisticated comedy back in the 80s when it was more like all laugh tracks and nothing. And it actually, I found it very entertaining.
I would have pegged you for a Sophia.
Yep.
Mark Banana Nut Bederow. Do you like Danish?
No.
Mark Bederow. What's the least favorite part about being an attorney?
The least favorite part about being an attorney is especially a criminal attorney, is you're in the business of misery. Nobody really wants to deal with you because if they are, on some level, something bad has happened, and it can be very rewarding to get people through that. But you're never having I shouldn't say never. Generally, you're not having business relationships with people who necessarily want to. They come to appreciate you, respect you, like you, but it's kind of a forced relationship because something bad has happened. And I think that's the one thing that, is unfortunate. It is the business of misery.
Never thought about that. No, it's a good perspective. Mark, I said what I said, Aro. If you are Nene Leakes, is Wendy Murphy Candy Burris?
If I'm what? I heard the Wendy Murphy part, which is the whole.
All right, so they're the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Nene Leakes and Candy Burris get into an argument, and they're fighting, and then Nene looks at her, and she's like, I said what I said. And it was just kind of this iconic moment.
With Wendy Murphy, you don't need to have an argument. All you need to do is let her talk and say, I have nothing to say. Just play back what she said, and people will see how nasty, foolish, absurd, offensive, and whatnot. I mean, she's her own worst enemy. So you just let her talk and convict herself, so to speak.
Have you seen her reviews on Rate My Professor?
No, but I'm familiar with, obviously her being a truther for the Duke lacrosse fiasco. I've certainly seen her online theories and other statements. I've said this many times. She's an absolute embarrassment to my profession. Turns out she's responsible for even getting me involved in any capacity of any of this craziness going on in Massachusetts that I've somehow found myself immersed in. And really, it was seeing some of her tweets over a year ago, I guess maybe right before the first trial, seeing a lawyer who styles herself as a constitutional civil rights expert and a former prosecutor saying things that were just so offensive to a defendant's right to due process and an understanding of what the Constitution is, what a burden of proof is, what the right to remain silent is. and just espousing these views where she can't be serious, which is why, I mean, it's got to be for attention or whatnot. And the only thing at this point that I can describe her as is just a cartoon character with a law degree. I mean, that's what she's become.
You're right on the cartoon character part. I feel like that's what a lot of them are. On per percentage of would take again of these people that rate my professor, that's a nice big.
It really, that reflects worse on the law school that would employ her, knowing what she says publicly online. It's a terrible reflection from the school, for the school, obviously. I don't know who would do that, but it's not a law school that I would want to go to.
Yeah, her reviews are horrible. The kids absolutely hate her. She doesn't listen, and I read all of them this morning, and I'm like, oh, this lady sucks. Mark Bederow, what do you like on your bagels?
I like plain cream cheese, but just a little. See, I'm in New York City. When you get a bagel and a schmear, okay, they take out and dump out half a gallon of cream cheese. It's disgusting. I like a very thin layer of cream cheese. Very
Cut
thin.
it in half?
Sometimes the places do, but no, I don't do that.
I went to school in New York.
You get a bagel sandwich in New York, a lot of times they're going to cut it in half because it's just, it's stuffed with, people out here get, bacon, egg, and cheese, everything bagels and whatnot. And if it's not cut, it's all going to just fall apart. But very thin layer of cream cheese.
I do have to say the bacon, egg, and cheese at bodegas in New York are phenomenally better. They put ketchup, mayonnaise, and salt on it.
They can. I mean, I find that disgusting. But
you do?
Yeah, but it is true. The bagels here are 1,000 times better than you get there. Nobody goes to Brugger's Bagels or any of these places. There's no real chains that you would go to. There are these stores in New York. Everybody knows H&H Bagel, or not everyone, but if you're around here, there's a place called Essa Bagel, which is just outstanding. And the bodegas, even like you said, I mean, you go to some scrappy looking bodega and they'll make a, egg and cheese sandwich. That's kind of like the official breakfast of New York City.
Yeah. You walk by and you can smell it. Like so good.
Yeah.
Mark Bederow, you work out?
Exercise more than workout. A lot of walking, stuff like that. Yeah. No, I'm not, not hitting the heavy bag and pumping iron like some of these people do all the time.
It's they call hooking up with Wendy Murphy, hitting the heavy bag. Mark Bederow, do you like candy?
Do I like candy?
Yeah.
I love candy, of course.
Some people don't like it.
Who doesn't like candy? Maybe it's bad to eat in a regular basis, but somebody actually doesn't like candy.
Yeah. And I think people who say that are just trying to get attention, to be honest. Like, oh, I'm different. I don't like candy.
I love Skittles. I love $100,000 bars. Remember those things?
100 grand?
Yeah. I love Twix bars. And I mean, obviously, like my kids eat this shit all the time, and I steal it. I love Sour Patch Kids. To me, I love candy.
Watermelon Sour Patch Kids are the best by far, in my opinion.
I like cherry, and I like also when you go to like those stores now where you can like make your own bag. And they used to have, some of those places have like chocolate covered coffee beans. Mm-hmm. So I'm like the world's biggest coffee drinker and coffee snob. And I would go into those stores and just fill it up with chocolate coffee beans and literally eat coffee beans for hours. But that's not a healthy habit. I don't recommend it.
I'm also a coffee snob. I'm the same way. What do you get? Like, what's your like go-to?
If I'm feeling like really, obviously,
really bougie.
Well, Jamaica Blue, obviously, if you want to, spend, well, there you go. You mean, listen, we're having the chat. But several months ago at home, we switched to Nespresso, believe it or not, from
the best.
And I like it. We have a Virtuo, and the frothy coffee now is it's the way to go at home. But if you like even just standard cheap coffee, New York City Bodega or street corner coffee is shockingly very good. I mean, it's not high quality, but it's good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Nespresso, I was very iffy about, and then like I just feel like it's calibrated perfectly. I feel like the pressure that pushes through is exactly what it should be. I feel like it's
I
just
was very skeptical. I didn't want to do it because I'm like the coffee guy at home. Nobody touches like, the mocha master that I had and all these other things. And then I was convinced to switch to the Nespresso because the problem was, what happens if you want to have one cup, which is kind of how the other people in this house are. And Keurig was out of the question. That like wouldn't allow that in my house. But the Nespresso, actually, I like it a lot.
yeah, me too. And I was very, very shocked at how much I like.
Yeah.
I'm very shocked.
It's expensive habit, by the way, but I like it.
It is, but
it's worth it. I like it.
If it's one thing that you're going to be bougie about, that's who cares. You
They
deserve it.
make
You work hard.
coffee too. For Zabar's makes very good coffee too, for what it's worth.
Zabar.
Yeah.
There's a place, Blue Bottle.
Blue Bottles, they're very good. They're all over Manhattan.
Yeah.
They may have finally spread. Maybe they're in Boston by now. I don't know.
I don't think so.
If you do come to New York City and you want to get like snobby, expensive coffee, Blue Bottle is definitely the way to go. Very good.
Yeah, and like very interesting kind of like setup and like decor in there too.
Yeah.
Mark Drop Dead Bederow. Do you have any imaginary friends, or did you when you were growing up?
Imaginary friends? Yeah. No. The only imaginary friend I remember is, watching the Brady Bunch, right? Jan Brady had her imaginary friend, George Glass. Yeah. No, I never had imaginary friends. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for a kid.
It just is a thing.
No. Yeah.
I think it is. Mark Beavis and Butt Hetero. What's your favorite comedic series?
So that's funny that you say that. In this household, there's a lot of TV immaturity. We absolutely love Beavis and Butthead and laugh about it all the time. And I'll watch it with my son, even like the recent reincarnation of it.
The recent movie?
All that. And we also, we love Family Guy. I mean, I could watch that on repeat all the time, have been for years. It's on Hulu, obviously, every single episode. So we watch a lot of that, kind of lowbrow humor. We actually like that a lot.
Are you a fan of Archer? Did you watch Archer?
Did not watch that. I know what it is. Did not
like
it.
Yeah. You would like it a lot. It's funny and it's dark and it's so good. Like it's hysterical.
It's interesting. I don't really watch much comedy TV unless it's like immature cartoons with lowbrow humor. For real TV, I'm very into more drama and that kind of thing.
I'm the same way. I like animated, like adult humor.
Yep.
Very much the same way. Mark Cosby Sweatero. Where do you shop for your clothes?
Where do I shop for my clothes? All over the place. Suits these days come from Bonobos because I know someone who's a friend who is highly connected to them and, introduced me to the company. So that's where most of that would come. I used to go to Paul Stewart, which is a place in New York on 45th Street. People know it, which was right next to the Brooks Brothers flagship, which is kind of where every young lawyer starts. Like, the classic, you need suits, you go to Brooks Brothers. But it's interesting. Right now, the wardrobe is really in between. It's really all suits or all, hoodies and T-shirts. And there's not as much in between. And that may be more like a product since when COVID started and all that. I just feel like I'm always either in a suit or just a complete slob.
You got a champagne taste. I like that. You like your quality products.
Yeah.
Mark Bederow. Any future goals?
Any future goals? I mean, I think like anyone else, you just want to be happy, enjoy your family, be financially stable, do good work, be satisfied, be whole with all around you. I mean, I think that's a very simple goal, but it's it's an admirable one. No political aspirations, nothing like that. Just be comfortable in what you're doing, move forward, and I think, raise good kids.
I think that's the best goal to have. It's a very admirable answer. Mark Trendsettero. As a former regular on the NRA program, a lawyer on Dr. Phil, do you feel like you kind of started LawTube in your own way?
No. So, I mean, the NRA thing, I mean, I was invited. I had a very fascinating couple of cases years ago where there was these tourists who would all come to New York City with guns. And New York has the worst, or certainly the most restrictive gun laws in the US. And these people would come from other states where it was legal to carry. And they were just legitimate tourists, good people who didn't know what New York was, and they get arrested and they're trying to be sent to prison. And some of these some of these cases would end up in the media. And so I got a call from a guy who was very into Second Amendment rights and had a show, on the NRA channel. And obviously you can imagine they would definitely take an interest in why is a good guy from the state of Florida who accidentally left a gun in a glove compartment where it's legal, takes a wrong turn in New York, coming up to visit his girlfriend, because New York City is the only place where you can't turn right on red. He gets pulled over, they find a gun, and next thing you know, they want to send him to prison in New York for 3 years for having a lawfully possessed gun in his home state and making a mistake without knowing. You can understand why Second Amendment advocates are just outraged at that and are going to kind of take the cause. I mean, there was another guy that we ended up talking to them about who was a former Marine who just brought his girlfriend to New York, and he was selling jewelry. So he carried it, he had a carry permit from his home state. He's carrying $80,000 of jewelry with him, who just wanted to take his girlfriend to go to the Empire State Building. And he ends up checking his gun, like legitimately saying, I need to check my firearm, thinking it's okay. And what happens? He gets arrested and they want to put him in jail. So, and this is a former Marine, right? Or actually the way the Marines talk, you're never a former Marine, not active duty. Those kind of cases are going to attract attention to Second Amendment advocates. So I don't think, those back then were just radio conversations. Dr. Phil, that was an interesting thing. That was just a couple of years ago on a case of a guy I represented for 12 or 13 years in this long, arduous path in attempting to undo a wrongful conviction. And that was just, we want to feature this. It was actually the very last Dr. Phil episode ever. They literally filmed, this must have been in March or April of 23. And they wanted to feature it, and they say, well, bring you out to LA for a couple of days. You want to do that? You're going to promote this cause and hang out at the Hollywood Roosevelt for a couple of days, go to In-N-Out Burger, which I do every day I'm ever in California or out West, anywhere, every day. That was an easy one. I actually liked Dr. Phil. I enjoyed that. That was an interesting hoot. And as a bonus, one of the other people on the show that day, because he was very active in another case, was the actor from The Wire who played Chris Parlow, who, if you recall, was Marlowe's right-hand man. I forget his name. It was great meeting him. He's the nicest guy. And it's embarrassing that I can't remember his name, but just for me as like a Wire junkie.
Huge Wire fan.
Yeah, to sit with him and listen to him and shoot the shit, and just, he's telling me how much I respect you as a lawyer for doing this. And I'm telling you, like, I'm talking to a guy, from The Wire. It was just a great, great experience. So, the Dr. Phil thing, that was interesting. Enjoyed it.
I like Dr. Phil. His podcast, surprisingly, is so good.
Well, he became that's it. Somebody, Jemba Akinabi, that's exactly him. Whoever wrote that down. That's the actor's name. Look him up. He's great. He's very active in wrongful convictions as well. And so is Dr. Phil. He became actually one of the other lawyers on the show that day was a guy who himself had been wrongfully convicted of murder in New York, a guy named Marty Tankleff. If you look him up, he's very famous in New York. And he was wrongfully convicted. He was exonerated. He went to law school, became a lawyer, and his case actually became famous because Dr. Phil got into it, brought a lot of exposure to it. So he featured Marty as a potential wrongful conviction, okay? And then he had him on as a lawyer advocating for other wrongfully convicted years later. And what an incredible way to just kind of complete that circle. It's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty nice. But I like Dr. Phil. People give him shit all the time, like unnecessarily.
That was fun. I mean, I don't care. It was fun. We had a good time advocating for a client. He agreed that, he thought he was innocent. I mean, he's got an incredible platform. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
He gave us Cash Me Outside.
Right.
Come on. We all owe him a big thank you. Mark, this is the last one. You did pretty good. You have one more.
All right.
Mark, how do I put this?
Oh,
This is the reach. Mark Better Van Gogh. Do you have any artistic ability?
Absolutely zero. And like less than zero. But the irony is, so my wife can really, draw is not the right word. I mean, she can actually create. And so my son can too. He actually took art classes and can actually paint some really nice things. And I am literally would be drawing stick figures. So it's clear where that talent came from. Zero artistic ability or whatever less than zero is. That bad.
Well, I'd say you have a way with your own words. That is an art form, being able to like develop a conversation. And your eye for writing and for storytelling is fucking pretty keen.
Well, I'll agree with you that, I mean, just as a professional, what you do, that becomes part of the art form in that sense of being an advocate and a lawyer, but in the classic sense of having, artistic ability, whether it be singing, drawing, or, that kind of thing. No, none, zero, nil.
I could see you acting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I have no problem with that. I mean, obviously public speaking is, not for everyone. That's, doesn't bother me in the least. Yeah, I mean, acting would be fun.
I could definitely see you acting. I feel like you'd be a pretty good actor.
An agent.
Right, you survived.
I survived, sure.
How do you feel?
Good. This was an interesting conversation. I enjoyed it.
No, it really was. Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
All right, good. That's all that matters. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us. I can only do an hour and 15, or else I get weird. Guys, I get tired. I start thinking about other things. So thank you so much. Oh, Brian LTL right now has on Tom CPU, a couple of people in studio. So we're gonna send you over there. So God bless. Have a good one, and I will see you guys out with a little bit of Tristan. God bless.
Somebody comes here before. It feels like we've met before. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper.